Tesla investors have some big questions now that we're into the fourth quarter. First, will the more affordable model, if it's priced at $35,000 or under, will it drive real volume growth or just cannibalize? Second, is the fourth quarter going to be a cliff or might energy save the day? Third, might Tesla remove the safety monitors in Austin's Robotaxis before the end of the year? Fourth, will we hear or see any new developments about Tesla's humanoid bot by the end of the year? And finally, our favorite question. Is Tesla's valuation at 240 times 2026 earnings per share justified by robotics and energy, or is this a bubble? Larry Goldberg's here with us today. He's a serial entrepreneur, 50 years of entrepreneurship, and has been an active venture capital investor for the last decade. Welcome, Larry.
Thank you. Great to be here, Herbert.
Yeah, let's go through each of these questions. I kind of tried to source out what are the top questions now that we are in Q4 specifically. Let's start with the first one. The more affordable model. So we're all expecting it at least sometime in Q4. Some people are thinking it might be announced sometime this week. Others are saying, no, it won't be announced this week. It'll be in a couple of weeks from now or later. And then the other big question is, what's it going to be priced at? And most of us think that it's going to be around 33, 35. But if it's priced at 35 or slightly under, do you think that it will drive volume growth for Q4? Or do you think it will cannibalize Tesla Model Y sales? What's your thinking on that?
It could be, it drives sales a little bit and cannibalizes a lot. Or it could be it drives sales a lot and cannibalizes a little. And everything in between. I don't know. I just don't know enough about the auto market to really fathom a guess. And the other thing is, I'm not certain of the pricing. I think the pricing may be a little bit higher than 35. I think 37, 37.5, 38. And, pricing is such a funny thing because you can set a price down to 35 if you strip out all the ads and then you make the ads, get you up to that 38, 39, depending on how essential the ads are. So it's hard to tell. But on balance, I don't think there's enough time in Q4 for that car to really impact, even if it comes out tomorrow, to really impact sales because the sales ramp, and we've seen sales ramps again and again and again. Even the Model Y Long, the YL in China, took a full quarter to ramp. So I think that it's not a real possibility that it will actually goose sales.
Okay. And then when do you think it will be announced? Are you somebody who thinks it's going to be this week, or do you think it's going to be, middle of the week before the earnings call on the 22nd or after?
Yes.
Which one? You don't know. Okay. You won't hazard a guess. Is the affordable model do you think it's going to be I guess you don't know, right? But I mean, it's like, are you thinking it's going to be the stripped down model?
Yeah. Well, we have enough information now to be pretty sure that it's going to be a stripped down Y, right? So no glass on the top, and smaller video monitor, less and no video monitor in the back seat, and maybe other little pieces of automation removed. So I think it's going to end up being kind of a car that you would expect from General Motors, sad to say, in terms of its capabilities.
Okay.
And will it steal from the Y? It's possible it will steal at the margins.
And then with the affordable model, do you think that it's so timing when it's going to come out? Is there ways that Tesla could lower the financing or the lease? Because it's what matters most is the monthlies. It's of course the sticker price matters, but let's say it's 35, which I agree with you. I think we heard Elon say a long time ago, he said that the more affordable model will be sub 30,000 with the $7,500 credit. So without it, it should be around 35, 37 maybe. Yeah. And if it is, But could they play around with financing and lease? With the what's your expectation for the rates being cut? How does that impact financing? And then maybe Tesla themselves does something magical with financing.
Well, you can't do anything magical. It's math, so you're really constrained. But interest rates are dropping. I do expect interest rates to drop, I should say. I do expect them to drop fairly precipitously in the next couple of weeks. I expect another quarter point drop from the Fed, if not a half point drop, if the situation with the shutdown of government really gets much worse. So I think we're going into a period where financing can become a lot more creative. Tesla haven't been that creative in using their incredibly strong financial position. But that could happen, and that should happen, I think. So we'll see. I mean, one of the interesting things about the less expensive model is it make an ideal kind of, larger vehicle for Robotaxi, because there's some requirements for Robotaxi that are more than two-seater. And we've always said that the shepherds, the vehicle shepherds, the Robotaxi shepherds, the private people who have collections would supply those. But I think Tesla is going to take a while before they're going to take shepherded cars.
Right.
So I think there's all kinds of possibilities for it, but there's obviously a market for a sub $37,000 car, and I think that's what we're going to see, and time will tell. Obviously, it'll take some, not a lot, but it'll take some volume from the Y, but we'll see just how much.
Yeah, the reason I do think that they're going to do something with a monthly payment is because several of the executives, every time they've been interviewed in the last month or two, they always refer to what really matters is the monthly payment.
Cost, yeah.
So I think that there's something that they're going to do there, some sort of lease or financing, or just eat the margin or something like that. But they need to bring that monthly payment to a magical number that many more people will want to buy it and can buy it, right?
Absolutely, but we have to recognize that Tesla have been very, very cautious, very conservative about exposing themselves to any economic risk, financial, with interest rates. They're one of the best financially operated auto companies in the world. Their financing is incredibly conservative, and they watch their credit rating, they watch their credit margins, they watch their credit quality like hawks. Nothing like some of the other auto companies. So maybe they'll do that kind of stuff, but they haven't done it yet.
Yeah, interesting. Good answers. Okay, second question, Larry. Is the fourth quarter going to be a cliff? Are we going to, we had a great Q3 because, you could already see the media headlines. Great, that's fine. They beat on Q3. What matters is Q4. It's going to be terrible. And the stock's going to fall because people will realize that it's going to be a terrible number. Or might energy save the day? I know you really have done a lot of research on the energy. You were already previously predicting that Q3, Q4, it could catch up.
Yeah.
Because we saw the sales, but it didn't register as deployed on Q1, Q2. And you go, well, you know what? It's going to show up. If it's not Q3, you said it might be Q4. I mean, it showed up in Q3 a little bit, right? It's 12.5 gigawatt hours. It's the highest we've ever had.
That's not a little.
So what are you expecting?
3.5.
Do you think we've already got all of it in Q3, or do you think there's more?
No, I think more is coming. I think Q4 will be very good on energy. I think it will exceed 13 gigawatt. I think it may get to 15. Now, I had predicted that sales in that vehicle sales would get to close to 500,000. That was my number, some time ago.
I think I remember. I was like, no, Larry. You're crazy.
Yeah, and I couldn't see it getting 500,000 or above,
Right.
but I said it was going to get as close to 500,000 as makes no difference, and I think we got there.
Yeah.
I think
497.
Q4 is going to be a struggle, and I think it's going to drop a little bit, maybe a lot. I think in the high 400s,
Okay.
and
It's not
energy is going to
terrible.
be pretty good, but it's nonetheless the stock price is going to be very, very, very buoyant because I think that we are going to see the advance in robotaxis. I don't think we're going to see the safety drivers come out of the car or the safety monitors come out of the car, just for regulatory reasons. But I think we're going to see a very significant expansion of the robotaxi fleet, and more importantly, I think we're going to see FSD begin to reach maturity, and I think we're going to see a huge impact on that, on the stock price from that. So, because the stock price has now become completely independent of deliveries, it is becoming completely independent of deliveries. And I think by the fourth quarter, we're going to see it become independent because I think the robotaxi story will be reaching its maturity. So, I foretold this in the third quarter. I said, deliveries are not that important. Now, I've kind of been shown to be somewhat wrong because the stock price did run up in advance as
Yeah.
the market started to understand that the deliveries were a lot better than the analysts had foretold. But I think that the run up was, some of that is contributed to the run up, but I think Elon's demeanor, Elon's compensation plan, and Elon's level of commitment really is the story here. And many of the analysts are beginning to see the whole story play out and talk to
Yeah.
that.
Yeah, they
So
are.
we've got this combination of forces. We've got some negative forces in Q4. I will not underplay them. I think numbers are going to be down, but we've got some very powerful positive forces. Energy, yes. FSD, absolutely. Robotaxi, clear. And then we're starting to see, the story of Optimus come out and become real. I don't know to what extent this chatter about the under $20,000 cost Optimus is, but some of the chatter we're beginning to see. So I think fourth quarter is going to be fine. I don't see the stock going much higher than it is now, but I see it's going to be fine.
Okay. Thank you, Larry. You actually answered the third and fourth question. So I'll come back to that again and ask you to elaborate. But energy, before we leave that, because you mentioned how, these big whale investors, but also the institutional analysts, they are changing their sentiment.
Right.
They initially always kept calling Tesla a car company, and then they started calling it an energy company. But in your estimation of how much energy could actually contribute in the fourth quarter, could it already, it's already past 10%, right? So what level does it need to be? And then all of a sudden it's like, oh, this is definitely an energy company by fourth quarter.
I think we have to get to that 20% mark that, I really analyzed it out and thought we could get to 20%. I mean, once Houston is up and running, we know that Shanghai is up and running. It's servicing, the Australian market directly. Australia is a gigantic market. I mean, it is gigantic, simply because, they have so much sun there, and they've been producing energy with coal, and that's kind of not that popular anymore. So there's a massive transition taking place in Australia. And so there's a very large market there. And so I think with the new products that are going to be coming out of
Houston, the mega blocks.
the mega blocks, I think we'll see a pump up in energy. So I think we'll reach maturity of the two factories that we've got by next quarter, and then Houston will start the following quarter. So I'm very, very confident that energy is going to reach 15 to 20, between 15 and 20
Of Tesla's revenue of over $100 billion, but you're saying it's next year, not
Yeah,
Q4.
yeah,
Okay.
I'm certain it's next year. Houston
Okay.
will not deliver this last quarter,
No. Yeah.
and China will continue to grow, and I don't see Lathrop growing any further.
Okay. Third question to you was, might Tesla remove the safety monitors in Austin's Robotaxi before the end of the year? You said no already, but you also said you expect expansion. Things are expanding. So tell me what you are expecting for
I think
Robotaxis.
we're going to see another 3 or 4 cities. I think we're going to see very large geographic expansion in Austin, and maybe 1 or 2 other Texas cities.
Mm-hmm.
And I think we will see, Phoenix is definitely on the table. I'm
Mm-hmm.
anxious to see Florida. Look, I'm anxious to see all 50 states. I'm very anxious to see Raleigh, North Carolina. So I can't, enumerate the cities. I don't study the number of employees for each area very closely. So I think that it's going to be the story of the fourth quarter is as we spot the
Expansion,
expansions. Yeah.
but no removal of the safety monitors. Is that enough though? Ride hail service, expanded geography. Maybe Austin is more expanded, but safety monitors. But still, is that enough to get the story starting to be told by, institutional analysts and other investors to realize, yeah, this is real?
No, I think that again, it's a creeping consciousness. It's
Mm-hmm.
their consciousness of what is really happening is creeping up on them. There are a few, you know, really leading edge analysts who understand it. A
Mm-hmm.
handful. That handful has grown
Mm-hmm.
from none really, actually, to
Bear
maybe
joined
5,
them.
maybe
Yep.
6. Yeah, and
Yeah.
and
Dan
so I think.
Ives, Morgan Stanley, and then Bear joined them. Yep.
Yeah, and we're going to see creeping expansion, but I think next year, first quarter is going to be the explosion.
Okay. For associated with robotaxis.
Yeah, yeah, people
Okay.
beginning to understand the opportunity.
Great. Okay.
Nobody gets the fact that they're running, at a quarter of the price of the
Yeah.
opposition. I mean,
Yeah.
when it's like, you know, how do you sell a product that's a quarter of the price of your opposition? How does the opposition? I mean, how does it survive? And it's only, it's a question of the quality of the product. And as long as Tesla continues to prove the quality of the product, I think it's, game over. Anyway.
Well, what I'm hearing from, the bears or people who are just analysts, they'll say it's introductory pricing. We don't know yet if that's the actual price that Tesla will do. You're referring to the lower cost typically if you choose between Waymo, Lyft, Uber, and Tesla. Usually Tesla is a lot cheaper, but that's with a ride hail service, a person in there too. So we don't know yet if that is their
I've done the
actual price.
numbers. I've done the
Yeah,
numbers. ARC has done the numbers.
yeah.
I mean, CERN has done the numbers. I mean, CERN's numbers are,
No,
you know,
but we're talking about with a human in the car still,
but
right?
that's a temporary situation.
Yeah.
People, any analyst has to say, well, that's going to change. And when it changes, what is the impact and what is the pricing?
Yes.
And as I've said, we've got really, really, really deep thinkers who've done the
Yeah.
analysis. And I've looked at the analysis and I am convinced, I'm absolutely convinced that Tesla's cost is well below $1 a mile
Yeah.
and could well, I mean, should they choose to sell it at $1 a mile? I'm not sure they will, but they could choose to do it.
Yeah. Seattle here is the highest cost for Uber for me to be picked up by an Uber to go to the airport, 20 miles, cost me $80 to $100. It's like crazy.
Like taxi days again.
It's more than taxi days. I remember with the taxi days was $50, and then Uber comes along and says, oh, it's 30, 35, 40. And I go, this is great. Oh my God, let's do Uber. And then of course, once they've won the game, then they killed the taxis. Now it's
And it's worse than that because you can't drive an ordinary Uber anymore. The quality of an ordinary Uber has fallen to terrible.
Yeah.
It's like the old taxi service. It's, the reason I gave it the taxi service had nothing to do with money. It had to do with the quality of the vehicles and the quality of the drivers. Well, that's why I will only buy the highest rung of Uber service, because anything below that rung is just not tolerable. And even at that rung, the drivers are not that great. The cars are sometimes very bad. I've had terrible rides at the whatever that top rung is called. And here's the thing. It's not $4 a mile. It's like $6 a mile at
with
that
the tip,
level.
right? Yeah.
And no, that's before tip. It's incredibly expensive.
Yeah. Their business is going to change. Okay. Fourth question. You kind of answered earlier, but will we hear or see any developments about Tesla's humanoid bot by the end of this year?
No. Sorry. No.
I agree with you. Yeah. I've been saying the same thing. I'm on your side. I do not want Tesla to reveal the Gen 3 this year. I prefer that they don't.
Couldn't agree with you more. Could not agree with you more. I want Gen 3 when Gen 3 is debugged, working, can come out dancing, can come out pirouetting, can come out, doing what Gen 3 is expected to be able to do. And I think that they got to get that right the first time.
I mean, that's what I want. But some people think that, no, we're going to see it at this month, November 6th at the shareholder meeting, when Elon did promise that bots will be dancing. I still think that it's just going to be Gen 2, 2.5, not 3. But
I promise
maybe.
you it's going to be Gen 2 at the shareholders meeting. I mean, I am firmly... Look, they just finished speccing the thing.
Yeah.
Now, it's possible that between now and August the something that they... November the something they can... Is it November? November 6th? What is the
November
date?
6th.
6th, November 6th. They can put something together. I'm sure of it. But I don't think it's going to work. And I don't think it... Look, what do we know? We know nothing.
I mean, that's why I'm saying I don't want them to, but we don't know if they're going to do it or not. Okay. Yeah. So last question for you is the valuation, right? The valuation right now, I think what I see here is 240 times 2026 earnings per share.
Yeah.
Is that justified? Robotics and energy, or we're at a bubble?
Yeah, I'm happy to buy shares at this price. I'm not buying right now, but I'm happy to buy at this price. I thought the run-up was a little steep, and I said so. I think that what we're going to see is this pullback, and then it'll steady, and I think we may see another run by the end of the year. Depends on how things go in terms of the shutdown. I'm very positive about the shutdown, the government shutdown. I think that it's the right thing to do. I think let the people who want more money from the government shut the government down, and let the administration reduce the size of government using the opportunity afforded them legally in the shutdown.
Yeah, makes sense. So what do you have a guess of what the price? I know you don't do short-term price targets, but where do you think that the price will be? Higher than today by the end of this year? Higher than all-time highs for 480s?
I think it could be higher. It could be lower. It could be the same.
Jeez, Jared, Larry. Okay. So you're not even gonna.
And those those opinions, I will stand by. I'm certain that I'm right.
I know that you don't do short term. I should just bothered asking you. I'll ask other people. Yeah. Thank you, Larry. That's great. I appreciate you. That was good. Thank you for your answers. Lots of good insights there. Follow Larry at Tesla Larry and check out his new website at lumacente.com. Thanks, everybody. I've created a website that is the most comprehensive resource for the Tesla investor. Please check it out. Simply go to my website at herbertong.com.